I'm going to show you how to launch a faceless YouTube channel and monetize using Claude AI. What used to cost thousands of dollars, require years of experience, and need a massive team for can now be done in seconds with AI. Totally insane. Sounds too good to be true, I know. But I want to show you real channels doing this that you can literally copy and paste. Ethically take inspiration from. And my full strategy, my content system, my titles, thumbnail scripts, the video itself with AI, and how to monetize. I'm going to show you it all in this video. So the first step is to pick I'm kidding, you've heard this a billion times. Just pick a good niche. No. The first step is to set up a content system. This is where we organize everything. It's going to make sense later, but we need this to run a channel effectively. So what I personally like to do is I like to open a Google Docs. It's really simple. It's free. It's owned by Google, like YouTube. And you can use more sophisticated software like Notion or whatever you want to do if you're a fancy person. I'm just a simple guy. So here's how we create our content system. It takes about 30 seconds. Just create a folder in your Google Drive or Google Docs. Call it Ideas. Create a subfolder, call it Working On. Create another subfolder called Final Edit. Create another subfolder, we're going to keep going a while, called Ready to Record. And you guessed it, another folder called Ready to Edit. And we're just about done with the last folder. We call it Done. And so that simple folder structure that you can see right here is going to be the backbone of our new channel. It allows you to come up with ideas, first of all in a document at the start, and then move them down step by step down the pipeline. Very simply, very clean, and also completely free. So that we don't miss a production stage, or God forbid, we lose a good video idea. Completely free to set up. And all you need is going to be a Google account, which if you're running a YouTube channel, you probably already have. So get this up and running, and let's move on to the viral, profitable niches. Now, when picking a niche, gurus will tell you, find your true passion, you have to love it, pick something you care about, or you will fail. That's terrible advice. I've heard this, and I started a gaming channel, which completely flopped, because most of us like gaming, sports, TV series, sports, whatever, meaning everybody listens to the same shitty advice about following your passion. And that is why, if you look at YouTube, the most competitive niches on the entire planet are going to be gaming and sports, because everybody picks the same one. But with AI, you don't need to spend 40 hours a week on it. You don't need to love it. Could you sacrifice 3-5 hours a week on something that pays the bills, even if it's a little bit boring? To me, that's a clear yes. I think it's worth it rather than spending 40 hours on something I hate. Now, enough rambling. Let me show you some magic. I'm just going to show you good niches. I'm not a magician. I don't even know any card tricks. Now, full disclaimer and a big warning. You don't need any paid software to find a niche. Let me say that again. There's going to be a lot of promotions about softwares. You don't need to pay for a subscription. A lot of people on YouTube get paid to push tools on you by these software companies themselves for research. Now, I do use many tools in my own research, and I might promote them sometimes, but I want to make this a free tutorial. And for a free tutorial, let's actually keep it free. That's a good option, right? So I'm going to show you the easiest free method for finding viral ideas, faceless niches for free. Let's begin. We start by setting up a new, fresh YouTube account. All over again, starting from scratch, new, fresh start. And this is going to be called our research account. And from now on, we don't do anything else. Normally, our accounts are cluttered by our own algorithm. It shows us content that we like, but we don't want to see that. We want to explore the whole spectrum of faceless channels. So we need a new algorithm, a fresh account. Now, I've made this mistake. Don't start watching videos on this account and don't follow your YouTubers. Better be me, by the way, if you're talking about favorites. Instead, only click on faceless content and give it a few minutes, and your entire homepage will be filled with more faceless content. Literally, it just takes a few minutes. The algorithm is so good. And we're training the system to show us these types of faceless channels. Now, at the same time, when you do this, create a new document and call it Research List. Yes, it's going to be our research list where we store all the channels that we find, or the good channels that we would possibly be using in the future for inspiration. Now, keep it really simple. Just add one channel per line, one line per channel, whatever you want to say, and write down the URL, the link, any notes, anything else. So we keep these saved once we need them later. Now, when you're choosing a niche, I don't just want you to look for one channel blowing up. because that might just be luck. You want to find lots of channels in your niche. If it's a one-time thing in one channel, it could be an exception. It could be luck, it could be good timing. But more channels all getting views simultaneously, it's probably not luck. It's about a system if it happens over and over again. Once you found a niche, how the heck do you stand out and actually get views? When YouTube is so, old and competitive and big, if you're starting from scratch as a beginner building a channel, how do you compete with like the big channels? Well, there are two things to keep in mind. First, you don't need to compete. YouTube is not all about subscribers anymore. Back in the days when I started, if you had lots of subs, you would always get a lot of views. But that's not the case anymore. Today, the algorithm is different. It's no longer rewarding big channels just for being big. If you, a small channel, a new creator, make a video that viewers like, you can get views on video number 1. Also on the channel, I recently just posted a video where I cover, I think like 6 or 8 different channels that literally were started like 2 months ago and have blown up, and they're all faceless. So channels are starting from scratch right now. Now, take that, of course, with a grain of salt. Most people do need a bit of practice, and it's going to take a few videos to get something right. But there has never been a better time to be a small channel looking to grow, because the algorithm is actually built for you. But now, okay, you still need a way to stand out. I understand. It's time to develop a unique angle. And here's why. Today, everybody has access to AI. It's not just you and I, unfortunately. And your angle is what separates you from other creators. I think it's better explained with an example. So look at this channel called Primate Economics. It's a really simple finance, basic drawings, anybody could do this. And finance is, of course, not a new niche. It's very competitive. It's a big niche, well-known. Everybody's talking about it, but also high RPM, very valuable. And here's the cool thing, right? This channel, when it was started, they were starting in a competitive field. They were starting as a nobody in a field that already had giant channels, but they are faceless and they used simple explainer videos with humor and memes to explain something that's usually boring, adding a new twist to a, boring finance topic niche. And it's working, clearly. So they found their unique selling point. Now, another example is going to be Wealth Logic. These guys are in the same finance space, but they're using another angle. They're not focusing on humor, videos aren't funny, there's no memes, but it's a serious and research-based channel with simple, clean animations. And that's working too. So both of these channels have found a unique angle, although it's very different for each channel, and every niche has unique angles just sitting, waiting for somebody to pick them up. So Lucas, sounds good in theory, I know. How do I find my unique angle? Well, I recommend our beautiful friend AI. Claude and other LLMs can help you find these angles and gaps in your niche that you wouldn't have been able to see because it can analyze everything. It's one of my favorite ways to use AI, and 99% of people just don't do it for some reason. But now forget about AI, or at least forget about that part, and let's create some thumbnails. And relax, don't panic. I paint like a 5-year-old and I struggle to make even basic stick figures, which proves a point. You don't need to have design skills, you don't need Photoshop, no budget. I've been working with lots of thumbnail designers over the years, but today AI is actually so good and we'll just make it ourselves for free. You could pay somebody, you might get a little bit better results, but the time that we save, the money that we save at the moment makes it all worth it. So here's how to make a thumbnail. Now, most people focus on design, but the secret behind viral videos is rarely the design. It's not going to be the small tweaks, it's actually the overall psychology. 3 things that I recommend you follow. And that's going to be clarity, curiosity, and simplicity. If you can deliver clarity, curiosity, and simplicity, if you can deliver these 3 things, and once you know your niche and what they react to, thumbnails become pretty easy. So study successful thumbnails in your niche and other niches, and then once you have the idea, AI can handle much of the creation process. I actually generated this example, this thumbnail with AI, and it looks pretty professional, looks pretty good. And this thumbnail, and this one too, and 3rd time's the charm, I generated this one too. So for free, and using one of the basic LLMs. Now they change all the time, so by the time I post this video, it might be Claude, it might be ChatGPT, whatever's the best. But if we just go back a few years, a thumbnail like this would have either required years of experience or be very pricey, and today that's not the case. And so you have the best time in history to start a channel if you're a beginner, and that's the truth. You are not behind, you're actually ahead of all creators because nobody else had these tools when they started. So moving on to my favorite part, and that is going to be the script writing. Now, the script is going to drive the entire video, and it gets overlooked, which is literally the most important piece. But don't be intimidated. It's pretty easy if you do it right. Now, on this channel, I write the scripts myself by hand because it's my personal opinion and input, so I can't really outsource it. But if you're running a Faceless channel, AI can help you immensely with writing the script. I like to follow a 4-step process. So once we have the video idea, and I know things are moving quickly now, but I'll explain everything later and summarize it. Once we have the video idea, we're ready to write our script. Here's exactly what I'm going to do. Just listen first. I start by getting an LLM like ChatGPT or Gemini or Claude. I like to use Claude, at least for scripts at the moment. I find that it's the best one out of the many options. And so step 1 is to find other videos that performed in my niche. We already found them because we did all research before we started writing. And now I put one or multiple viral videos into Claude and I ask for the structure of each script, basically trying to dissect how did these viral videos structure, or how did they work? How are they structured? How does it work? Claude will start thinking, my robot friend, while I go make some coffee. And then I come back to my desk and I have the structure of each script broken down in Claude. And so a proven structure that we know already worked in another viral YouTube video. So then what do? Well, I just give Claude my own title, my own video that I want to create, and anything else I like to tell it. And then Claude generates a structure for my own video based on what already worked in my niche. So we're not copying, we're just modeling what already works. And then if everything looks good, I generate the first draft. And if the draft looks good, I generate and start requesting the script. And then I request a revision from the AI to basically fix any mistakes and make it better. And then the last step is that I slap the text back into my own document, back in our content database that we created before, the thing where we went the different stages and we created the folders, and actually a tiny last stage, which is the manual edit of the script to make small improvements. I just try to remove any annoying parts or long sections or stuff that shouldn't be there, and that's it. The script is ready. Now, this entire process can take anywhere from 3 minutes to roughly 2 hours, depending on the length of your script and the complexity and niche, but it really shouldn't take any longer. And here's the script I created as an example, which only took 5 minutes. And the thing I changed by hand is the hook, intro, and the first 20 seconds. And so I do recommend spending extra time on the intro and not just leaving that to AI, because it's so important that you want to make sure the intro is the most important thing. It needs to be good. But as you can see, don't worry about scripts. The tools we have today are incredible. Use them. Now let's create our final product, our video. We're going to put everything together and have a video ready for our YouTube channel. So here's how we do it, step by step. First, we're starting with a voice. Now we're going to need a voiceover, which I'm doing right now manually, but you have a few options. Very simple. Either you record the voice yourself, like I'm doing now, or you can use AI, such as 11 Labs. Now, a full disclaimer here. Some popular AI voices have faced issues where they've been labeled as slop by the different systems and algorithms. And that is actually, unfortunately, for a valid reason, because so many of these slop channels with AI bad videos were using these voices. So I recommend avoiding the generic main AI voices and ideally duplicating your own voice into 11 Labs, thereby creating your unique voice that's not used across slop channels, so you won't get punished for their mistakes. It's your own voice, but the AI does it once you put it into AI. And this is free. They have a free plan and a subscription that's very affordable if you need it. And back in the days, you would have to pay a lot of money for this, and so that was a big expense, and that's gone. Now, once the voiceover is ready, we can put everything together into our final video. Now, here you have a couple of different options, right? You can either hire an editor, and I actually recommend doing this. Prices start low depending on the niche and the quality that you need. Others are a lot more expensive, but lots of niches are fine with simple editing. You don't need to go for the higher production niches when you start. And I think it's 100% worth paying for. You can also use AI to create a lot of different videos with AI tools and the new models, which change all the time. So I'm not going to mention that specific model because it will be outdated in about 30 seconds. Now, it takes a bit more time, but if you have that, it's a good option. But the point is that once you have an idea, you have a script, production is pretty straightforward and you don't need to stress about it. But now let's talk about my favorite part, which is monetization. How do I turn this whole thing into a business that's worth my time? Well, you monetize. Now, we of course have ad revenue, we have sponsors, we have affiliate, physical, digital products, services, communities, merch, memberships, so many different things. And once you have a channel and an audience, the opportunity is there. If the niche has a large enough audience, there's always going to be ways to monetize it. You won't struggle anymore. So don't stress too much about this. Focus on building the niche and building your audience first. And so if you want more help with this, in the description below, I'll leave a link to my free in-depth tutorial with a lot of resources and guides and examples covering all the faceless niches and parts to starting a faceless channel. And also, if you just want to stick around on YouTube, in this video, I cover more faceless channels and niches for beginners. Check it out.